Good afternoon. This is Thursday evening, and we've had a pretty horrendous day, haven't we?
Horrendous few days, to be honest. It's been absolute a nightmare. Didn't do much filming yesterday because it was nothing but carnage, and yeah, just madness. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But what's happened so far? What fish have we had so far?
We've had about 33 grass carp.
Yeah, I'm on 30 grass carp. It's absolutely crazy.
I've had 3.
All of them being over 30 pounds, probably 10 of them being over the 40 pound mark, up to 46. JB's had 3. Obviously, you had your carp early on, and yeah, I'm absolutely getting beasted. It's not what I came to France for, but I will keep plugging away. I will not be broken. Like these grass carp will. Well, actually, I have.
You are broken.
I've been broken several times, but. Let's talk about why we didn't do any filming yesterday. So, you know, it was, I'm trying to think of what time it was. On the Wednesday, it was probably about 4 o'clock. You went over you left me here. So let's just talk about the net situation first.
Yeah.
So we came here with 3 nets. You know, thought that'd be more than enough. Everybody knows about grass carp ruining your nets. However, we didn't expect it to blast the net the first time when we hooked it.
And we didn't expect to be catching so many grass carp as well.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Like I say, we're on 33. So we've had 1 net completely annihilated, and then another net with not only the mesh annihilated, the actual net pole snapped. In fact, let me just get it for you right now. Keep them busy, JB, and I'll show you. Where is it? Where's this bloody bastard in here? Here it is. Keep them busy, mate. Keep them busy. So, this is the one that got annihilated. So you can see here, it just snapped. So not only did it rip, it actually, the grassies, they lunged so powerful, it actually snapped the net. And this is JB's finest net, and obviously it's not fine no more. Is how we've been netting the grass carp is we've been getting in the water with the sling open and dragging it over there and then lifting it up, because we've got 1 net left, 1 solid net.
We've got like 6 slings, but
yeah,
just 1 net left.
But 1 net. So take a little bit of a rewind back to Wednesday afternoon.
Thursday.
Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
Because Wednesday.
So, yeah.
We're Thursday today, you dickhead.
Yeah.
So the yesterday afternoon. So what happened is I've been catching grasses steadily all morning, and it's gone quiet for a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And the rain and the wind picked up. He'd gone over to the hut to charge some bait boat and camera batteries and all the rest of it. And as he was literally gone round the corner, my rod ripped off, and I'm playing this fish. He was round there talking to the lads, you know, catching up for I don't know, probably 40 minutes or such. And at the whole time I've had this, it ended up being 46 pound grass carp, beating me up. You actually, on the way, halfway, you were going to stop off to put the beer in the beer bank, but I saw you look over and see I was into a fish, so you jumped in the car, came back round, and yeah, we managed to get it under control. And just as we had netted,
we just got it into the sling.
Yeah, just got it into the sling. I looked up and saw 4 carp bosh over my spot, and not grass carp, actual carp units as well. And literally, as we were sort of just getting that fish out of the water, the 46 pound grassy, my middle rod ripped off, and I bent into it, and straight away I was like, this is different. I didn't want to curse it. So I started playing this fish in again, long old battle, probably 20 minutes into at this point, and it's sort of quite close in, to be fair, plodding around just in the margin. And we hadn't seen it yet at this point.
But we were pretty certain it was a carp.
Yeah, I was certain, because you can tell, because they not only do they take line when they're 100 yards out, but they feel heavy from the grassies get nuts under the rod tip, but these they feel heavy the whole way through, and they really bend your rod over. And they also, when they surge water up, you get a big old splash. With the grassies, just don't seem to do that. Also, another telling sight, they also carp go for snags. Grassies don't really do that. Also, when you're side straining, because of the shape of them, you can side strain grassies really easy, and you just pull them through. But carp, obviously, they use their weight, and you can't side strain them as easy. So as I'd literally gotten it close in, my bay rod, which is over there, ripped off. So JB started playing the fish that was over in the bay, and my fish is getting closer and closer and closer. And then it comes up, and I see it's a carp, and it's quite a big one as well. Big, fat mirror of couple of big apple slice scales on it. So at this point, I'm like, I don't know what to do. The actual net is over by him, because when he was away, I thought it's probably better to have the net over there and then have the slings in front. So you're battling away with this fish. We don't know if
it's
at
this point, because we took so long to get over to the bay because we're trying to sort that out, the grassy had ended up on the inlet of the bay, so it was miles out. So I had
And it was
to
on a
play that
10-footer
back.
as well.
On
So
a 10-foot rod, yeah.
you're playing that, you know, I was, and then it's a bit of a weird situation. So he's playing the fish, panicking, it's in the bay, going over, potentially cutting up my other line. I've got this giant carp that's just ready to be netted, and we just don't know what to do.
I'm the only one with the net.
And he's the only one with the net. So I'm there, so I'm waiting, and the fish is sort of just beat, and I could have netted it 10 times over. So it's just sitting there, and it's sort of it sort of drifted in and almost beached itself because it was so big, and it was not doing anything and just on its side. And I had one of the slings right next to it. So I thought, all right, what I'm doing, like we've done with the grassies, is I'll try and sort of hand line it into the sling. So I grabbed my dark matter, what's it called? Rig tubing, and I'm sort of slowly start pulling it, and it just starts drifting over, and then gets into this sling. It sort of goes over it, and then all of a sudden it goes poof, and just lunges off into the depths. And I've got this right around my hand, so I'm like that, whoa, and then it sort of stops, and I've just managed to taken the first lunge. So then again, it comes up to the top, and I'm like, oh, I'll wait a few seconds. And then, so all right, I'll get it this time, I'll be quick. So I'm pulling it. Just as I'm about to sort of go up like that, it does it again. And this time the actual line just snapped and the fish was gone. And you're still playing it over there.
I'm still playing the grass.
So bear in mind, this is a triple take. That bay rod hadn't done a bleep for 4 days or 3 days or however long it was, not even a bleep.
And it chose to go off at this time.
At the time when I haven't got a net. And it was just the most, I can't blame him, it wasn't my fault, it was just really unfortunate. And I screamed, even the lads heard me over there, I was like, it's fucking gone! Like screaming, like my old metal vocals came back out, I think. And I think everyone in France could hear me, everyone in the whole complex.
As soon as he screamed, I was like, oh no. I was like, oh, this is not good.
So then, I didn't know what to do really, to be honest. I was so, by this point, like I say, 30 grass carp. I've seen them over there. I've been plodding away. I've been chopping and changing hook baits and doing everything with my power. I've been knackered. From the moment I get up from the moment to go to sleep, it's just fishing. Charging batteries, going over there, bait boating out, going out on the boat, baiting, you name it.
It's the hardest we've ever had to work.
Yeah, I've fished.
Ever.
Yeah, it's like I could be a competition fisherman
Even
now.
pulling your rigs out because we're fishing so far out is like a massive deal. And then when you're having that amount of grassies,
It breaks you down, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's 10 minutes after you put the rig out as well. So, before you can even get your second rod out, you've got to redo your first one again.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Constant battle to get all 3 rods out.
Yeah, absolute nightmare, bloody hell. So then I sort of walk over to him. Obviously, he knows what's happened, but I walk over with, God knows, steaming, angry face. And then I'm thinking, well, I just get this thought, well, if that's a carp and it's a unit,
yeah.
Although that's oh, that tip was bouncing. Oh yeah, so I was thinking, well, if this one, that was unfortunate, and it was just, to be honest, the most bullshit, just annoying situation I've witnessed in all my fishing. I've been carp fishing since I was 5, and I've never seen anything like that. That was just it was just unfortunate and just bad luck, like all over bad luck, and it is what it is. And it took me a whole 24 hours to get over it, because I was just like, why, the carp gods, why did you smite me? So I go over to him and I'm thinking, well, if this is a chunk, it's fine. And then he's finally beating it. He's like, oh, fucking hell, this fish. And then we get it up, and I just see that long white flank of probably a 40-pound grass carp. And I just go, Frah! And then quickly we unhook it and then just push it back in.
Yeah.
And then I came round here, walked round, I took my crock off, and then threw it, and then came back round. I think I knocked over a camera tripod, and then
he went and he booted the boat, which was beached on the side of booted it, and then realised it was drifting out, and then had to grab it and pull it back in.
And then came in and then had another couple of screws, maybe kicked the bivvy, and I was just gone. I was like, that was probably the angriest I've ever been in fishing. It's all supposed to be an enjoyment, but when you're as passionate as I am about it, it just got a bit too much for me to handle after lack of sleep and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kicking off in JB. The roach, the perch are chasing the roach again, and you're in there. You can see him flashing up, giving you liners. So that was that. Then
So that was yesterday, and then
in the evening Tottenham win, and you were like, you go, God, I hope Tottenham win because otherwise you'll be so upset, you'll be cracked.
Yeah. We tried to chill out a little bit in the evening and watch Tottenham, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, good morning. Unfortunately, the camera cut out. As you could see, I was just in a story, and in true Pilgrim fashion, the battery ran out, so it cut off. And then I got a run from yet another grassy, so that was that. We're just on our way back from the supermarket on a final day. It's now Friday. We're sort of all stocked up. And I suppose it would be a good time to talk about what we were going to be saying in the video about the Croc story and all the disasters that happened on the Thursday. So yeah, what do you want to start off with your maybe propeller story? That was quite funny.
Yeah, so we had a pretty mental day, all day catching grassies, wasn't it? And then you lost your fish.
Yep, I lost the carp, as I mentioned previously.
So Billy was raging, he was in a bad mood, and then I thought, right, I'm going to get my long range rod out. So
give it a big hit of bait as well.
Yeah, give it a big hit of bait. So I thought I convinced Billy to help me hold the rod for me when I rode it out there. So yeah, got a nice drop on it, filled it in, then came back, and just as I was coming back, Billy's rod went off. So
with another 40-pound grassy.
So, but I didn't know whether he had put my back lead on or anything like that. So he put my rod down on my rod pod, and I was just coming back, like quite rushing back to try and help him. It was probably a grassy, but they need a bit of help. So then, and then all of a sudden, my alarm starts screaming as I was coming back in, and I thought, have I got a take already? And then realised that I'd gone over the line.
Oh, everyone's done it once.
In my propeller, and just dragged probably 100 yards.
Yeah.
Dragged the lead 100 yards, all in the propeller of the boat. So I spent the next hour just pulling all of the line out of the propeller of the boat. So I was pretty pissed off at that point as well. And then it was another grassy, wasn't it? So then Billy was just as angry again. So
yeah. So then with this particular grass carp, things just went from worse to worse. And at the time, it seemed pretty. I was really angry, but I decided to release this grassy back at a different area in the hope that it might just not go back to the spot, because I swear that we're just repeat catching some of them. And I went into the water and went into a spot that was really deep silt and clay, and I didn't know, and I started sinking pretty badly. I had my Crocs on, my precious camo Crocs, which I'd been trying to get a hold of, camo Crocs, for ages, and I finally got them in stock, and I've been wearing them. This is my first trip. I was loving them.
He was going on about them all the time.
I had my first pair of Crocs, the green ones I've had for 15 years, and I got rid of them and got these ones. Anyway, long story short, I nearly drowned in the clay. I had to get rid of this grassy, and I started sinking, and then I had to just pull myself out, and one of my Crocs was lost in the clay, and then I spent the next 20 minutes digging in the clay like a madman in the trenches trying to find it, and it was gone forever. So I just came. What did happen? I just came back to you.
He came back, and I was just sat on my bivvy, and then he just threw his one Croc on the floor, full of clay, and he had clay all the way up to his thighs, just covered in clay, and silt and all sorts, and it was soaking wet, and he just screamed and said shouted that was a waste of time, and he was just livid. And I thought, oh, here we go again.
Proper sulked, didn't I?
Yeah. And he went and sat in his bivvy for about an hour until he came out, and it's just like, should we go to the supermarket and get some more flip-flops or something? So I was like, all right, so we had to reel in all of our rods, go to the supermarket. This was by time as well, wasn't it, really?
But I just needed to get out there. My head was gone. I was just pissed off.
Yeah.
Absolutely moody.
So yeah. So that was a pretty shit day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. So, and we needed some food. And I don't know why we just were in and out, and we didn't even think about the food. To be fair, we left a load of food out.
Yeah.
And so that gone off in the sun. So we had to come back this morning, which is why we're literally just on our way back. And it's the final day. I've got a couple of ideas and chopped. Like I say, I've only had that lost carp, and up to I don't even know how many grassies I've had at this point. Many grassies.
Over 30 in that.
Yeah, over 30. See if I can get over 44 like the group last. And I've got a couple of ideas, rig tweaks, to see if I can put a few carp on the bank, because I think I'm getting closer to cracking the code. So we'll just go out there and get the rods out, and hopefully I can redeem one fish, one chunk on the final day. I'll be happy.
Be nice, wouldn't it?
With all the grassies, it's been absolutely mental. It's just, I've used 2 whole things of IQ, I've used loads of braid, I've used packets and packets of hooks, I've had to re-spool, my line's been ripped to shreds. It's just been a nightmare, but hopefully got one more day to bag a chunk.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of line as well, haven't we? we respooled all of our reels, obviously, and I've lost like quite a lot out of one of them and a bit out of the other where I got snapped off. So it's been carnage, really, isn't it?
But hopefully, like I say, one more day. Please, the carp gods. Hopefully, I can bag one. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's the spot. Oh, where are you putting it? So you've seen a lot of bait, isn't it?
The pub chuck.
Oh, there we go. Oh fuck, I'm gonna be in some trouble here. Gonna be in some trouble here. There you go, out of trouble. How is it over there still?
Don't worry, mate. Just chill.
No, I'm chill. I just don't understand. I've reeled in about fucking 100 yards and it's still in that.
Well, it was a long way away, mate.
Yeah, no, but it's gone. It's like over here. Because I'm super worried about that. That's why I've been side straining for the last 10 minutes. It's because I'm worried about this margin snags.
And it's not coming in like a grassy.
Not at all. If it is, it's
a beast.
It's the side. Look, can you see where it is now?
Yeah.
I think it's trying to go in that way, and that's what I'm trying.
Keep
to
the tension on it. You don't want to drop in the hook.
See where it is now. Look.
Yeah.
It's strong.
Just get in the water if you need to.
Yeah, but this is a better line up here. The height.
Running out of battery. Oh.
Normally they turn by now with this side strain.
Yeah, it's not grassy, is it?
He has not turned. I don't want to say, to be honest, but it's going to fuck me in this margin snag, and then I'm going to get cut off if I'm not careful. I can't believe I did that. Right, here we go. This has got to be the hardest I've ever worked for a carp. On the final day of the trip, I've had 39 grass carp and I lost a chunk in a very unfortunate situation. And then the last day it's come true. I've been plugging away and chopping and changing and having to deal with all those crazy grasses. I've had grass carp up to 49. Oh, JB's just said a bleep. And yeah, this one, this beautiful dark robin mirror. That's the reason why we come here. It's 3812 spawned out, but I'll get you up for it. It's an absolute beauty. There it is. It was on the double Escort 3 on the Arctic crab. 220mm bottom bait. Size 4 hook. Nailed me chavvy. Nailed. Absolutely, as you can see, I'm buzzing with this. It's been a long time coming. I didn't think it was going to happen. Together we've had 42 grass carp, all over 30 pounds. You know, maybe 10 or 15 of them over 40 pounds, up to my biggest, which is 49.12 with the grass carp. JB's had his carp, and it's finally happened. And it's such a battle as well. There we go. What a beautiful fish. Lovely colours, plum colours. Oh. Oh, second carp of the trip. This one was 33. Oh, again on the double bottom bait. Seem to maybe have unlocked a bit of the code now, so 2 bites pretty quickly after nothing but grassies for a few days. And there's been carp over me as well. But yeah, it's an absolute stunner. Spinning round so you get the other side. It's got like a bit of a broken, few linear sort of middle scales. There's lovely colours on this one again. Oh, he's a bit of a kicker. Got these lovely little circular like oyster shell pecks. You'll go back soon. Give you a dip. There we go. Beauty. Whilst talking to other anglers on social media through the Rich Riff channels, I constantly get asked questions about bait and baiting approaches, particularly when I go on my French trips. So I thought this was a really good time, seeing as on the bank of France right now, just after lockdown, to talk through to some baiting approaches, what I've taken, because I try to mix it up and do some slightly different approaches to what I sometimes see on the bank, and I think it can be a real edge. So let's talk about the exciting stuff first, the boilies. Now, this tends to be most of my approach. I would say is probably 50% all boilie and the others made up by particle and pellet. But the boilie itself, now you'll see in here, I've got various different boilies in here. I've actually bought 3 different baits, but one of them is 2 different sizes. So there's essentially 4 different boilies in there. I've got the S-Core, the SMC, the S-Core 3 Arctic Crab, and that's in the 50mm and the 20mm. And why I bring all these different baits, it might seem like overkill, but I find it helps trick the wary carp. And in times past when I've been on these trips, I've gone around and spoken to the other anglers on maybe different venues or some of the lakes fishing closely. I always see, oh yeah, I bought 20 kilos of cell, or I bought 40 kilos of cell. And I find that if you bring different types and mix it up, it kind of tricks the fish a little bit more, and they never really know what they're getting caught on. And you also will pull in different fish. You'll find that some fish like more fish meal based baits, some like more sweet milky bird food based baits. So that's my thinking about that. As you can see, they're all sticky and lovely, and I do boost them up quite a bit. Various different liquids. Some of them are in front here. I've got there the bait soaks. I think I've got the Arctic Crab, the S-Core 2, which is a very fishy one, and then the SMC, which is just very caramel, sweet like maple, and it's almost like a sweetener, and that just rounds off the bait. And that helps bring a massive cloud into the water, bring all that fish in, and I think that's really, really, really good edge. I also put a bit of our pellet oil on there and some serum, so let that soaking up. So you're just trying to get as much flavour down into the spot as possible, because these venues, believe it or not, are as pressured as they are in England, and they see the same stuff week in, week out. So try and just little edges to try and get you a little bit of advantage on the next guy, because that's all it is. You're competing more against the other anglers and the pressure on these lakes than the actual fish themselves. So if you can get as much flavour and bits and bobs down there as possible, that can really help. So that's the boilie. And then we're going on to pellet. Again, I like, wherever I go around the Europe or in the UK, I like to use a lot of pellet. Unless there's nuisance fish. If there's lots of catfish and you want to avoid them or sturgeon, I'll stay away from pellet. But in here we've got grass carp and carp, so I have caught some grassies, but we can talk about that another time. But this one is our maxi pellet. This is the bigger one of the 2, and again I boost him up with the pellet oil, let it soak in for a couple of days, and that just helps with the breakdown time. It seems to take the pellet a little bit longer to break down and keep them going. Again, various different sizes, different breakdown times. Also helps with the oil slick. When this stuff starts breaking down, even with the small fish, you can get your slick, and you know that there's some activity on your spot. Spread it out there, lovely jubbly. And then the final part is this particle. Now I would normally prepare my particle, however here at Goncourt they prepare this lovely stuff, and this venue sees so much of it. Maxime, who makes it here, he does such wonderful particle, and so much of it goes in, you'd be a fool not to use it really. This one is the chili mix, and now I've got maize here, and we always put a lot of this stuff in because you can then use 2 grains of plastic or a couple of bits of maize on the hair. Seems to trick some of the wary carp in there. So what I tend to do is when I'm on a boat, I don't mix it all into one mix like I used to. I keep it separate, because sometimes I might want to bait a little bit in the edge with some pellet, or I might want to spread the boilies out, and I tend to do a few different approaches depending on the bottom and the areas that I'm fishing. But I like to spread my bait out, especially when I'm fishing boilie, get big spreads of baits on, keep the fish in the area for as much as possible, and hopefully catch more fish than the next man. But yeah, that's my sort of baiting approach, incorporating lots of Richworth bait and products. And yeah, if you do have any questions, then just in the comment section or drop us a message on Instagram. I'm happy to talk about and help. And yeah, get on the Richworth.
I'm getting my waders on.
Whoa. Taking line at like 120 yards.
Jesus.
Start to tear them this way again. Careful, don't go off the shelf. Hey, why do they go that way? Wank stays. If you get on it early, then you can pull them over.
Yeah.
You sort of trick them.
Are you able to tease it back?
Hmm?
Are you able to?
Yeah, you sort of trick them and then they just turn and start swimming the other way. It's a really good, it's a method for match fishing. The final prize of my trip, well, you never know, there might be another one, but here she is, 47.7. Let's get her up for you. She's a heavy one. Oh, there we go. Look at the thickness of this fish. It's all shoulders, this one. It's a bit like JB, all shoulders.
I'm a beast.
I'm a beast. Right, make sure she goes back with lots of kick, because this was some battle and a half.
Get a gimbal for this?
Nah, it'll be fine. Right, making sure it's like a submarine. Right, she's ready to go, I'd imagine. She's kicking. Off she goes to the depths. Whew. Oh, my back's broken. Spinal. Blimey, what a couple of hours angling. Things always have to happen at the end. It was proper kicking off. After I put that lovely 47 back, I got the rods back out and shortly they're off again. This one felt like a bit special. Beasted me, felt like a real chunk. And just as I thought things couldn't get better, an absolute beast popped up at the net. Look at this. And look at these though, it's beautiful. Well, I can't believe it's happened after all these years. Finally, gone and broken my mirror PB. Oh, let me just get it up. Oh, this is a 5114 of pure rubbing mirror. So this is my PB, and we all know that that means carp number 5 today. Just as it's getting into evening. Oh, 40 pound 12. Really short but chunky one, this one. Oh, my third over 40 pounds today. It's kicking off for the last day. I think the boys over the road have, over the cross have had a couple of 40s as well, so it's all carp all round. Oh, is that a Bosch?
Yeah.
Big old Bosch. Woo, might spin it round. Sorry if I just looked there. This is like a Simo. Final bite. Well, it might not be. We haven't got any rods in the water though, so see if we can get some more rods out. But yeah, potentially could be the final bite. 40 pounds 12. Beautiful robin carp. I'll see. I'll give you a final lift because my back is burning. Oh, there he is. Beauty, chunks worth. Oh. Wow, what a final day. Robin Lake had truly given us a send-off to remember, and to beat my PB mirror after all those years, that's a top result. This trip had been full of highs and lows, and I think, to be honest, I had to put my hands up here, and I think I acted pretty childish and lost my temper a couple of times. You've got to remember, it is only fishing, it is supposed to be fun, and I think I let it get to me too much, so hands up on that one. I might have looked pretty petty in some of the parts of this video, but, you know, I'll be the first one to admit that. Been a struggling old trip, but came true in the end. And if it wasn't for JB, I probably wouldn't have caught any of those carp. He was truly selfless on that final day, helping me weigh fish, photo fish, filming it. So thank you, JB. I owe you a beer or two. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the bank sometime. Get on the churn!